So good morning and welcome to Clay County Economic Development Corporation's 2025 Annual Workforce Summit. My name is Crawford Powell and I am the president of Clay Economic Development Corporation. And the guy that gets to stand behind the podium, Lindsey, does a tremendous amount of work and she makes all this happen. So thank you very much, Lindsey, for making all this happen. At this time, I've seen a couple of elected officials walk in. If you will stand and be recognized, and if you work for an elected official's office, if you will also stand and be recognized, I knew we had several in here, so thank you so much for being with us and taking the time to join us this morning. We appreciate that. As an FYI, we have officially relocated our office down to City Hall in Green Cove Springs. And so if you need us, we're a little bit further south, but we are still up and running and operational and everything is going well. It's just a little transition of offices. So just wanted to make sure we announce that. And also thank you to the staff at Green Cove Springs for all their help. We're here today to have a conversation about workforce, about talent, about human capital, about employees. Different names, same concern for most industry. Economic development is always a moving target. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, having sites that were ready to go, that are developed, that have infrastructure, that have capacity, that have all their zoning, that have been cleared, that are adjacent to a divided 4-lane, that maybe have rail, maybe have gas, maybe have electrical power, was by far and away the top concern for industry. Today, workforce is right up there with site location, and not just workforce for startup, but what does workforce development look like for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years? Because most industry coming into a community makes a significant capital investment in their facilities and operations. And they want to know that we as a community have the capacity to support them, not just initially, but continually through their processing. So we want to make sure that we're developing the right workforce for what our employees are looking for. And this is the community conversation of what does that look like here. May 29th, we are hosting our second quarter investor luncheon. The speaker for that luncheon is a gentleman that works for a company called Lightcast. He is a national labor economist. And his facts and figures are incredibly staggering for what the labor force is going to look like for the next 15 to 20 years in America, not just Northeast Florida, but across the country. Let me encourage you, when you get an invitation coming out to you to that, please sign up for that. It will be, on one hand, it's eye-opening. On the other hand, it's scary. On the other hand, it says, hey, you need to do what you need to do to train your employees and keep your employees. Be a job that they want to maintain and want to stay in. So let me encourage you to do that. That was May 29th, luncheon that will be held here. So we've got a robust lineup of speakers today. We've got a pretty good list. We've got a lot of ground to cover and a short time to get there. I wanted to say thanks to Sheena for a great breakfast buffet back in the back. Guys, she does an exceptional job for us doing that. Also to St. John's River State College and for their team, and for Bob and his team here at the Thrasher Horn. They do a great job. And finally, I want to say thank you to the Blue Collar Recruiter and Trade School as being our title sponsor for this. When we had this conversation, they were like, yeah, we want to get involved. We want to meet the community. We want to know the workforce, and we want to be a resource to industry and recruiters and opportunities in this region. So with that, I'm going to invite Jacki.
So thank you everybody for coming. We're very honored to be the title sponsor. And I just want to say I'm very much out of my league here with public speaking. So, all right, we're going to start with a quick video. Just need more volume. My name is Lindsey Navin, and I'm the owner of Blue Collar Recruiter Jacksonville. I've lived in this area for 22 years, and in a past life, I was a licensed financial advisor and also an insurance adjuster where we represented homeowners against the carriers. I care deeply about this community and the economy here. So I'm extremely excited to bring Blue Collar Recruiter to Northeast Florida. And we're going to talk about some very important issues in just a minute. But first, I want to introduce my business partner, Jacki Hale.
Hi, good morning, and it's a pleasure to be here. I am Jacki Hale, and I'm a sixth-generation Floridian. And last month was my 40th year being in Orange Park, so I've been here for a long time. I used to own Island Independent Insurance, and Lindsey and I worked together as public adjusters for 5 years, and throughout the state, we saw firsthand so many issues that the skilled workforce is going through. So when we started to do this, it was like, this is something that is really needed. So we're looking forward to benefiting the community and helping where we can.
Okay, so what is Blue Collar Recruiter? Blue Collar Recruiter is actually a national franchise, and we are representing Northeast Florida and other parts of Florida as well. And we essentially do 4 things, and I'm just going to go through those quickly for you. The bread and butter of what we do is recruiting. It's full service recruiting, which means we help employers who need permanent, full-time employees, whether it is just to replace someone who's no longer there or because they're in a position to grow and expand their business. The other thing that we do is premium job postings. And this is really unique because there are some companies that are constantly hiring. Maybe you have seasonal employees, part-time employees, or you just have a lot of turnover. So in those cases, as you know, you're probably having a lot of ads out there. You're paying different Indeed and LinkedIn and Monster, and things are coming at you from all different points. That's what happens to us every day. Things come at us from all different points. What we can do is provide you with one portal. We place the ad for you for one price, and then we funnel everything into the portal for you. So all you have to do is log on, and you'll see your jobs, and you'll see all the candidates that we put in there for you. And it makes things much more simplified, and our clients really love that. And it's for people that don't want full service recruiting, but they just want one place, like a one-stop where they can see everything that they're doing all at once. We do some business services, business brokerage services, and then we do have a virtual trade school, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit.
Okay, and some of the other things that you may not know, we provide full service recruiting to all types of blue collar business owners. We got the specialized trades, technicians, plumbers, electricians, license holders, customer service, office staff, salespeople, supervisors, and managers. So we pretty much are, got everybody involved.
So why work with us above or beyond other recruiters? We specialize in skilled trades at blue collar industry for permanent placements. So that's our specialty. Our fees are well below industry rates compared to other recruiting companies, and we offer training assistance and education for new and existing employees, and that's really what sets us apart. And again, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So, the blue-collar workforce, there's a crisis right now. There's a lot of challenges that we're facing, and we also have some solutions. So, the essential industries are facing a growing skills gap, which a lot of you are probably seeing, and that's really the topic of today's meeting. And there's an alarming shortage of skilled tradespeople across the nation and here in Northeast Florida.
Hey, have a little pop quiz. By 2028, how many additional electricians, plumbers, and HVAC techs will be needed nationwide? Somebody know? Guess?
Throw out number?
Guess? How much?
500,000. It's a lot.
Yeah. On the average age of a skilled tradesperson, what's the average age of? 55.
You guys are good. You guys are 56.
And what is the highest paying blue collar job in 2025?
Chris, do not answer. Where is he? We talked about this the other day. Anybody know? No? No? Elevator installer and repair technician. They make on average $110,000 working for another company, but it's obviously a very important job as well. They got to know what they're doing. So I just want to throw out a couple numbers real quick. These are some statistics. Contractor shortage. Percentage of contractors reporting difficulty finding skilled workers, 89%. That's almost 100%. That's a huge issue. Manufacturing gap. Projected unfilled manufacturing jobs by 2030. So 5 years from now, we're going to have 2 million plus manufacturing jobs that are unfilled. The average time to fill a skilled trade position is 93 days. We try to get it done a lot faster than that. Sometimes we can't. But if you think about that, that's costing you guys money when you don't have people on the job. And that's a problem. And then lastly, it's going to cost $1 trillion. There's going to be $1 trillion impact to this skills gap.
We hear so much about $1 trillion, nobody thinks much of it anymore, but trillion isn't.
It's huge. And then on the other side there, you see it just says the percentage of firms who have at least one unfilled opening. And the only reason I put that on there is you see the top 3 are what we're discussing: construction, transportation, and manufacturing. So there's a theme here. What we do, what we're talking about in this room, the blue collar, the skilled trades, laborers, they're most affected by the workforce shortage.
Okay. Some of the skilled labor gap, we've got an estimated 3.2 million skilled trade jobs are projected to remain unfilled by 2028. 77% of contractors report difficulty finding qualified workers. That's a big issue that we can help with. Manufacturing sector faces approximately 2.4 million unfilled positions. 30% of skilled trade workers are over 55, creating an impending retirement cliff. And this is even lower than what I thought. I thought it was 13. 9% of the skilled trade workers are under the age of 30. So there's no replacing, individuals are retiring and they don't have the younger generation coming in to replace, the skilled workforce. So 82% of companies struggle to find qualified candidates. And this is really important here. Successful apprenticeships combine classroom learning with paid on-the-job training. And those are that's the answer for what we're dealing with right now. So why is there a shortage? Well, vocational training has declined across the country, and we really have to get together to fix that. I know Kelly's going to talk about that, I think, in a little bit, but that's a huge issue. White collar focus. Society has been pushing college degrees over trade certificates. And I think a lot of people in this room know some college degrees you can basically wipe your butt with. Right? I mean, sorry if you have an English degree or a psychology degree. I do, but I don't do that in my, that's not what I do for a living. So there's a lot of time spent in four-year college that is not worth it. And in my opinion, the blue-collar jobs have been looked at almost as a consolation prize for a long time, and that shouldn't be the case. It's a truly great, viable option for a big sector of our population. Aging workforce, we've experienced workers are retiring without replacement, and there's negative perception, misconceptions about pay, conditions, and career potential. So all those things. I think this next is kind of going over that again real quick. Yeah, it's just kind of a recap of what the previous screen was. 86% of the high school counselors prioritize college pathway over vocational options. 67% of parents even discourage children from pursuing trade careers. It's like, go get that 4-year degree. Only 23% of Gen Z respondents report having exposure to trade education. And 72% of young adults associate trades with low status despite high earning potential. So there are a lot of the trade industries that they actually have the potential of making more money than having a 4-year degree.
Yeah. Okay, so ladies, we're not participating in the trades and the blue collar workforce like we should. 1.2% of electricians are women, 4% of the construction workforce are women, and 30% manufacturing. Every woman in construction looks like this, so why are we not hiring them to work? Right?
It's amazing, 40% of the national workforce, but only 3.4% of the women are in these trades.
We really have to push women, young girls, to look at the job opportunities that they have. And we're ignoring 40% of our workforce, essentially, and we have a massive shortage. So we have to bring women in to make up the difference. So successful training modules and solutions. Apprenticeship completion rates, 94% job placement with average starting salary of $72,000. That is awesome. We have to work on the apprenticeships. Company-sponsored training showing 82% retention after 5 years. So if you own a company and you can create a good training program and hire some younger people, they will be loyal to you. They will stay there for a longer time, and you'll be able to give them good habits, start them at less money, and let them build with your company. Career technical education students graduate high school at a higher rate. It's basically 13% higher than their peers. So these are all solutions. These are some things that we all have to work on. It's pretty much why we're sitting here today. Okay.
And some of the Northeast Florida demographics.
This one,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But in 5 years, you're going to have about 25% of the current workforce that's going to be retired, and in 10 years, 45%. So again, like we said, there's more retiring than we've got coming in, so it's going to create a huge gap.
Yeah, there's a cliff. In 10 years, we're not going to have half of our workforce. Top issues reported by Northeast Florida employers. Finding qualified applicants, 82% say that's an issue. 78% recruiting younger workers is a problem. 71% knowledge transfer from retiring workers. So the guys that are retiring are not taking the time to mentor and train the people below them. 65%, we say there's a problem with competition with other regions. Other parts of Florida attract people like Tampa, Orlando, Miami. They're bigger, well, just considered to be bigger metro areas, and they are paying a little bit more and they have more talent down there. And then 58% have an issue meeting wage expectations. So we have a problem with the people that have been doing the job for a long time, know that they're very valued and they want to make a lot of money. And then we also have the young kids who don't have a lot of skills, but they also want to make a lot of money. So we have to figure out how to pay people properly so everybody's happy.
And expanding funding for vocational education in high schools, which I think we just went through an issue where, I don't know if that passed or not, hopefully they were trying to cut. We got to get that passed. I mean, we can't let that happen. It's too important. Tax incentives for businesses offering apprenticeship programs, which is really good. Everybody needs a tax break. Public awareness campaigns highlighting career opportunities in skilled trades. And, blue collar we can streamline the certification process for experienced workers.
Okay, so how can the blue collar recruiter help solve our workforce crisis? We can't do everything, but we can help. We actually have a virtual trade school. And what is that? It's comprehensive and detailed 3D simulations, virtual reality, animation, multiple assessments, and certifications. Now, I was a doubter. I'm just going to let you know. When I bought this company and they said we also have a virtual trade school, I was like, how? How is that possible? This is a hands-on job. We can't learn it on the computer. This is stupid. That's what I thought. But then I also thought, how many people have Googled or gone on YouTube to learn how to do things? So how many people here have not used YouTube to do anything? Like, everybody in this room has used YouTube, right? So I started thinking, and I was like, how many times have I done it? I've watched YouTube to learn how to change a toilet, change a faucet, ceiling fan installation, light fixture installation, car battery change, and garbage disposal. I've done all that at my own house by watching a 15-minute video by some who knows who this person is? They're just trying to get their 5 minutes of fame, right? They're not necessarily a professional. But I watched it, and after 15 minutes, I was able to do the job. So my point here is, imagine if you're having 90 plus hours of detailed professional videos that are designed to educate with simulations and exams. And so that's what we can provide. And we have a number of programs. The big ones are HVAC, electrical, safety and compliance, which is OSHA 10, OSHA 30. We have plumbing, and we also do the appliance maintenance. Those are like the 4 or 5 big programs that most people use. But what I did was I grabbed just one course out of our electrical program, just to show you how truly detailed it is, so you can get an idea of how it works. So this is just the introduction video to how to use a meter, electrical meter, whatever it's called, I don't know, but this is the video.
There are a variety of tools available for you to use in simulations. To use them, click the Toolbox button, then select your tool. The tool will appear in your hand, and you'll be able to use it to test and inspect the components in the simulation. To put a tool away, select the toolbox again, then select the tool again, and it will go back into the box. Other resources are often available to you in a sim, on your wrist widget, or the bottom bar of your screen. These include different types of schematics, as well as interactive wiring diagrams. The interactive wiring diagrams are really helpful when troubleshooting. You'll notice that they are live, in that you can see the flow of electricity, or lack thereof, real time, on the diagram. This replicates the flow of electricity in the simulation equipment. When you place a multimeter probe in the simulation world, you'll see it appear on the wiring diagram as well. When you fix a fault in the simulation world, you'll also see that faithfully replicated in the live diagram, and the flow of electricity resumes throughout the system.
So that's just a really short video on how to use the multimeter portion of the course, which is about 90 to 100 hours. But just the multimeter portion is almost 2 hours long, with 7 simulations, 11 videos, and 9 knowledge checks. So what I'm trying to drive home here is that this is an amazing program that we are wanting to partner with hands-on companies to get the education portion down so younger people can go in and start working.
And what we're hoping to do is, our goal is to partner with schools, businesses, and nonprofits to create the most comprehensive programs possible. We want to provide students with both intensive classroom learning with our apprenticeship partners, which we are partnering with different businesses, so they get the hands-on training. So we're not in competition with anyone. It's a work with program for our young students. And this will create a strong, well-educated, and loyal employee. And it'll be beneficial for the employers and the new generation employees and the community.
So we can't change the world, but together we can change the face of the Northeast Florida workforce. Thank you. And now I think we're going to bring up Brian Knight. Pragmatic Works.
All right, good morning. So this session's about AI and what the impacts are going to be to the workforce. And I started trying to struggle with this one because there's the Terminator version of it from the Terminator movies of what AI can do. And there's a hopeful version. So I tried to find somewhere in the middle here to show, yes, AI is going to impact us, but what is it going to do? How many have used AI in your jobs already out of curiosity? Oh, wow. It's a lot more than I expected. It's probably 90%. So to start with, the more optimistic number is about 92 million jobs worldwide will be impacted by AI by 2030. I say impact, I mean displaced by 2030. This is the conservative number. The numbers from Goldman Sachs is closer to 300 million. And I've seen as many as 800 million in some of those projections also. It's a little scary, right? And when you look at this from me as a parent, I have 4 children at home. I am like, what do I tell my child to go and study? What do I tell my child to go and learn someday? So we think, at America here that we'll be a little bit insulated from that. But unfortunately, the higher the economy is, the more advanced the economy, the more jobs that will be impacted. For some of the developing countries out there, it's closer to 23% of the jobs will be impacted. For us, this is by 2030, which is 4.5 years away. It's going to be closer to 60% for the US, Germany, Japan, and those kind of countries. So ultimately, this is going to impact all of us in some shape, fashion, or form. So to kind of illustrate this, I wanted to take my fictitious salespeople here and kind of walk through a day in the life of what they do today. This is actually a real example. I'm going to kind of transpose in some fiction here also. So I have my sales team, and what do you think, if you're in sales, what is a number 1 or 2 things that you hate doing the most? Cold calling, all right. How about number 2?
Call reports.
Call reports, yep. So all the mundane stuff and the call reports, absolutely. The number 2 answer nationwide, by the way, is RFPs. You have a lot of you guys, oh yeah, I hate that, right? It's these RFPs you'll find on many websites, and industrial websites, commercial websites, and governmental websites. You go and you find them, you try to respond. Inevitably, you might be late on them. They have a 30-page questionnaire about what they want, how they want you to answer. And then there might be somebody that has the inside track the whole time anyways. So we spend at Pragmatic Works days and days and days to respond to a single RFP. And it involves a pretty good sized team, right? I've got one guy, SDR, who's out there finding these kind of opportunities. I have a senior person that's kind of putting the thought process behind it, writing it, getting much more advanced with it. An estimator is putting the numbers on it. And the analyst is saying, here's what our project plan looks like. Let's review this one more time. Here's what the legal looks like, and so on and so on. So you can see what this could take days, if not a week, to respond to a single RFP. Some of these RFPs, like I said, are 30 pages long just to get a response in. So let's take a look at a different approach here, what this might look like. So we tried this AI system the other day, and it's called Manus. Don't worry about reading this. Essentially, what this prompt is saying is, I'm looking for any kind of opportunities. I work at a company, training company called Pragmatic Works. Here's our rate structure. Here's how much margin we want to make on things. And make sure you only find RFPs that give me at least 15 days to respond. If you find one, go ahead and build a response automatically in Excel and in Word to their questions and answer like you hear my voice. And then build a list of Excel spreadsheet showing me what you found. So out of that, it went ahead and spent about 15 minutes combing through websites. You're seeing it spinning up different agents, about 15 different agents. Each one of those is combing through different government websites, finding the perfect RFP for our company. Then it's actually writing the stinking response for me and building a Word doc after Word doc for me that answers specifically what that customer wants to hear. So it does all the research on that customer, what kind of voice they have, and responds to those voices. Can you imagine this for a grant writer? Another thing we all hate doing also. So after it's all done, you see a little checklist on the right there it's building. After it's all done, it built 45 Word docs, an Excel spreadsheet showing me all the stats and all, and it built a web page that looks like this, where I can kind of analyze. It found about $14 million in business, like potential business, that we can go and chase. So what did that do to our staff there? So now we went from our 4 people building this RFP with one RFP to now 1 person plus AI building 22 RFPs in this case for $14 million. So it really revolutionized what our salespeople can now do. And now they can go and focus on other things, or other things might happen also in some cases, but this is, I'm able to chase much more deals now in this case. So this is a simple example about how AI this week can impact our jobs. And about 14% of the jobs already have been impacted by that. People that are being displaced right now are saying, yep, AI did it. So you can imagine, we're reaching this critical point in education and the workforce that we have to address. Now, this is a simple example. Our customer service team, Microsoft, recently has this thing called Copilot. You may have seen it inside of Windows or inside of Word. They have it now where our customer service system can now respond to customers automatically. If it says, hey, I recognize that problem, it will go ahead and respond for me. So I had this poor guy that hated this part of his job. is now able to do that automatically. He handles 10% of the cases versus the 100% before. We have another organization, a Department of Education. This is a large state in the Midwest that we did some work with recently. They have, as you can imagine, if you've ever been a teacher at some point and you send, I'm trying to get endorsed on this one skill. I want to be earth and space science teacher, for example. The backlog for the state of Florida, this one particular state, can be quite lengthy because they have to manually review these transcripts, make sure you meet the requirements for that endorsement. This state had 12 people working around the clock, and they're doing 2,000 applicants a month, and they're always behind. They're 2.5 months behind at all times. And during the opening of the school year, they're more like 3 to 4 months behind. So they can't keep up. We built an AI system for them in about a week, and it was able to do all that work, catch them up, and now they need one person to review it now versus the 10 now they had before. So this is impacting a lot of people. Even on the manufacturing side, as we just heard, AI is starting to enter those areas. We have a golfing customer where as they are building a golf club, it has a camera above and says, oh, no, you're 2% off. Look at this. For this one customer, this will be their needs, and they'll tweak the golf club right there dynamically based on AI. So every single career job, whether it be manufacturing, blue collar or white collar, is going to be impacted by this. So that's the scary part. Now, what can we do? Well, these are the jobs that are impacted the most. We talked about some of the ones that what we're seeing out in the industry. And it's hard to see this, but up top this is banking. It's one of the biggest factors of that. A lot of the customer service calls can be responded by AI. We're seeing it right. We don't go to the bank as often, even 10 years ago, when you do today. But there's a lot of the, I can't even see myself in this angle right now, but even my job in software, I was trying to prototype some software the other day. I said, build me some software that does this, and it built the application to the 95% mark for me. And I had to tweak a few things. So lots can be done with this. Now, on the positives, there's all positive sides here also. There are a lot of new jobs going to be produced from this also. As you can see on the left side, we're seeing the fastest growing jobs that are right now in demand because of AI in many cases. Now, this top one here, this AI engineer, it's been around for a long time. They may be called machine learning jobs before. It's been called decision tree kind of stuff. But it's been renamed 4 or 5 times, but it's still the same job. But now for every job, that first one you're seeing up there that goes filled, there are 600 more that goes unfilled, which is driving, as you can imagine, the salaries way, way up. So a starting pay for an AI engineer right now, average, is $250,000. Coming out of college, it's $250,000. Can you imagine? If you have, as you're becoming more experienced, the average wage, not starting wage, the average wage is $400,000 for those individuals. And the managers, if you're an AI manager, director level, you're $1.2 million on average. That's like crazy. It's like CEO level for an AI, because they just can't find these people. And they're banking their entire business on this. So these are India has to do with data. This takes a lot of data centers to produce these results. It's going to be super, super in demand. Now, this doesn't mean that these ones on the right side are going away. It just means, in many cases, they're being retooled. And that's the mission for us today, is to make sure that we retool those positions you saw up there a moment ago to make sure they're ready for that also. Now, all this investment's going into these fields, it's actually going to create, we saw 90 million before going away, 170 million net new jobs are going to be created because of this. So it creates a huge gap that we have to fill. Now, this is worldwide, mind you. Again, there's varying estimates here. This is the one that's more conservative that I kind of pulled to be more optimistic, hopefully. And we have the big tech firms out there spending $300 billion right now on tooling themselves, on data centers, on the new software. This is a U.S. number, by the way, not a worldwide number right now. So they pledged $320 billion to kind of get the U.S. forward on this. So, and also 92% of the companies in the world right now, in the next 3 years, are going to make huge investments in themselves in this. So we're looking at, I want to kind of divide this into 2 different groups here. We have our children, and we have our current workforce, and what can we do about this to kind of prepare them for the future? Well, if we're looking at our upcoming workforces, our kiddos that are out there right now, We need to make sure that they graduate with AI literacy. How do you trust that that response that came out of AI is correct? You know, so we don't have classes like that in many cases. But we need to kind of start building those classes and recognizing that's going to be a problem in some cases because AI can hallucinate sometimes, right? We want to make sure we really enforce STEM education, even if you are going a different route. Even if you're going the blue-collar route, you still need that STEM, right? The elevator technician I had building our building, he had AI goggles he had to pull down at one point to kind of visualize something he was doing on the elevator. So things are, even at the blue-collar level, changing at that point. So no matter what they are, we want them to have that basic logic solving problems available. Because our brains are a little bit, think about when you graduated from high school, right? You used to be able to recite what 9 plus 13 did pretty easily. I can still do it, thank goodness. But as things get a little sticky, I have trouble doing my tips sometimes, figuring out how to tip properly and those kind of things. So our brains are getting a little squishy in some cases. So teaching basic logic puzzles like programming and data is going to be really, really important. From an adult side, every job is going to change in some fashion, so we want to embrace that somehow. So we want to embrace those vocations that Lindsey was just talking about a moment ago. We spent a generation really pushing people into colleges that may or may not want that, right? There's nothing wrong with going a different route. It's actually a really glorious thing in many cases. So embracing those vocations is a great option. The county is doing some great work around that for getting people ready for that as well. Retooling for AI is taking existing positions that we have today and teaching our workforce how to retool for that. So when that customer sends you this long lengthy email, how do you respond to that in a faster way? So you can act like 5 people, not just like one person that's tired of reading this email. So those old positions need new mindsets in many cases. At the same time, kind of along with what Lindsey was saying, we have a shrinking workforce coming up as well. So in really 2033, the US replacement rate is going to start tipping. And we're already seeing this in South Korea, Japan, Germany. It's going to hit us in 2033, where our population will start decreasing. So we're going to have less people having to do more work. So because of that, it's actually a good thing in our case. Is every industrial revolution we've seen, the industrial revolution, the technology revolution, the 90s, the mobile revolution now, has led to more jobs and more wealth for us. So this is just another revolution. So that's my optimistic side of this. I really see this as going to be something that's going to really bring a lot more productivity in the United States. We're going to need the productivity because of this right here. So ultimately, we want to embrace that. And those that are willing to embrace that are going to ultimately see those leadership positions in the future also. So at Pragmatic Works, just real quickly what we do, we train last year we trained about 12 million people. It's our rolling 12-month average right now. We do it through YouTube, we do it through, we have a learning management system, we have classes, we do it privately, and then we build solutions like what you saw right there. And we are based in Green Cove Springs. We have about 40 trainers there, but we do this worldwide in a little office in Green Cove. All right, thank you so much. And upcoming next, thank you. Upcoming next, I have a good friend of mine, Anna Lebesch, who has done some wonderful things for the county for many, many years. And now she is moved on to JAXUSA, where she's doing some amazing work there also.
I think Lindsey wants that one.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I've been challenged to go as fast as I possibly can to get us back on schedule. So that means you got to listen quicker and faster. All right? Are we ready for the challenge? As Brian indicated, my name is Anna Lebesch, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategy and Talent and Marketing at JAXUSA Partnership, which is our regional economic development partnership. We work very closely with Crawford. We work very closely with the school district here in what we do in economic development. Many of you are friends in the room, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about who we are and what we do. Our regional strategic plan, and Crawford alluded to this already, is focus on specific areas, but one of the areas that is number one in our plan is talent development. We spend a lot of work working throughout our region, throughout our state, and even nationally in terms of talent recruitment, talent development, and talent retention. Without the talent, we can't have business growth. The talent contributes to the quality of life that we have in this region, and we need the talent to help build our infrastructure as well. I'm going to give you the regional perspective, show you a little bit more about the region, and you're going to hear some themes reinforced here from our other speakers as well. This region, it's a 7-county region. It has a labor force of over 800,000 people. We have a very high concentration of veterans. In fact, we have a higher concentration of veterans in this region than the state. The veterans are a very important talent population for us, both them and their children who could go to school in our school systems here as well. And we're younger than the rest of the state. We also have been ranked as one of the best job markets by the Wall Street Journal. When you look at Clay County's workforce a little bit, your workforce is about 115,000 people. You have a higher concentration of those veterans right here in Clay County than we do as the region. Your concentration is almost 14% versus where the region is at 9%. The median household income for the region is almost 77,000. The median household income here in Clay is 86,000. So you have a higher median household income. And your age is just slightly higher than the region, but still younger than the rest of the state. In terms of your industries here, your top 5 industries are healthcare, retail trade, accommodations and food services, education services, and construction. What's happening? This region is growing at a faster rate than the US and Florida, and faster than all other MSAs in the state of Florida. We are the most affordable MSA in the Southeast. What does that look like throughout our region, and what does it look like for Clay? Clay has a healthy growth. Not as high as some of the other areas, but we anticipate some of that is going to change, and with some opportunities that we have here in the region. Migration. Where are people coming from? We are gaining people in this region every day. On average, it's about 100 people that are coming to this region every day. And you can see where they're coming from. A lot out of the Northeast, some out of the Midwest, but also from California as well. You'll see San Diego and Pensacola on there. That's a big, heavily influenced by military transitions. Now, this is a lot of data. We're not going to dig deep into all of this, but I'm going to give you some highlights because this is about who's moving. The largest cohort of migration is the 30 to 34 and the 35 to 39-year-old, which is a positive thing for us because those are individuals that are probably early to mid-career and plan to establish themselves here and hopefully continue their careers here. The one that I want to highlight, though, as a negative here is the loss of the 25 to 29-year-olds. We need more of them to stay in our region. One of the things that's a positive and a negative is we have such a strong school system here, and my children are products of the school system, and I'm very proud of what they experienced here. But a lot of our kids leave our region to go on to other training. What we need to do is have them come back after they're done with that training, wherever that may be. And this has already been alluded to, but this is a really important thing for us to remember, is we are in a decline. Right now, you see today, where today's 18-year-olds are. Those are the ones that are entering either the workforce or post-secondary training today. There is a decline, and there is no foreseeable future where this upticks. So there are simply fewer people to do the work that's going to be out there. We have real assets in Northeast Florida in terms of top school districts, top university programs. We have a new graduate campus from University of Florida that's coming into the region. This is a real asset for the community that we need to continue to build upon. Career and technical education is extremely important to this region, and we are recognized. In fact, next week I'm going to be at a conference that I'm one of the luncheon speakers to speak about how this region works together in building talent. So one of the things I want you to take away today is we have strong programs already in place here. What we need is we need more employers to engage in those programs, and we need more infusion of resources into those programs. Our hope is that some of the legislative things that are being tossed around don't have a negative impact on CTE programs, because we've been very fortunate in this region of bringing in dollars that help build those very programs that are building the workforce that we need. This is just a reflection also, though, of what's happening with the population. College attainment is going down. And college attainment is going down across the state. So we have to continue to do a better job and double down on recruiting those individuals to this region. Because the region that wins in talent is the region that's going to have the most vibrant economy for businesses and employers. Here are the targeted industries. This hasn't changed. These are areas that we're focused on. We've announced already 3 announcements this year, over 500 jobs. Last year, it was 17 announcements, over 2,000 jobs, and you can see they're all across a variety of industries. Since 2019, over 104 announcements, almost 15,000 jobs. And where are they at? These are where the most jobs most new businesses are coming to the region. You see that advanced manufacturing and transportation and logistics are leading, and those are anticipated to continue to lead as we look at the projects that we're working on. Financial services continues to be a real strong emphasis for this region, but we have announcements in all other areas as well. And just a caveat on health and life sciences there, that doesn't reflect how the organic growth that the hospitals are experiencing. We don't capture that growth. This is new markets, new companies coming into the region only. What do we need to do? And this has already been talked about. The skilled trades dilemma, the pressure that's put on our students to get a college degree, the college experience and that perception. I think, we were here, I was here, 2 years ago, and we were having this conversation then, and I'd like to say we've made progress on this. I hear more and more people talking about the opportunities that there are in the skilled trades, and that is a better choice for their son or daughter. But we have to continue with that messaging, and that messaging needs to happen early. We can't just start that conversation in high school because they're making decisions in middle school on what they're going to do in high school. And we can't wait until middle school because they only know what they know. If you don't start exposing them to different careers in elementary school, they don't even know that these things exist. So continuing that earlier and earlier messaging is important. We partner with our school districts in doing that through our Earn Up campaign. Last year alone, we did presentations, events, and interacted with over 10,000 individuals, and that was just last year alone. We also do social media campaigns around this because isn't that where our youth are paying attention to, is social media? And we've reached over 1 million people just in our social media campaigns last year alone. So when I say that we're working collaboratively in this area to really increase the knowledge of what opportunities exist here, we really are. And this area is spotlighted as a best practice. So I want you to walk away with some not just scary things today, but some positive things about the work that's being done. The College for All attitude, I think, again, this is just that emphasis on how important it is to show individuals there are many career pathways and many great opportunities throughout the region. And it's not just going on to a 4-year college that provides opportunity. And lastly, we need companies to invest. You're investing in your own future by investing in theirs. So if you're a company in this room and you are not already engaged, it's time to get engaged. If you are engaged, it's time to deepen that engagement and give more. Because this has to be a partnership. We are not going to solve this challenge, workforce challenge, without it being a collaborative relationship with everyone. I appreciate being here today, and I get to introduce the next speaker who actually needs no introduction, but Superintendent.
What a privilege it is to be here today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Brian to write me an AI program for angry parents to respond. I learned that could be a good thing. So thank you so much for volunteering to do that. It's my privilege to be here, and they said, hey, you got 10 minutes to talk about Clay County schools and workforce development. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm up for the challenge. So here we go. I'd be remiss if I didn't say a couple things. I think I know most people in the room, but that just means all those jobs you see up there means I'm old and I've been around a long time in Clay County schools, 36 years, 9 different positions now, currently serving as superintendent of schools. Very proud of the work that's done by many in Clay County schools. And talk a little bit about the impact of public education for this group, as well as career and tech ed, and engaging with the school system. You heard many of our speakers talk about the fact that students are the future workforce, and how do we engage business opportunities and partnerships with groups around so that we can prepare them for the future. A couple quick things. One, the school system has tremendous impact within Clay County financially. We have 42,000 students. We have about 5,000 employees. So in Clay County, if you were to take every other governmental agency and add the number of people together, the number of people that work for the sheriff's office, the number of people that work for Parks and Rec, and you would add every government employee together into one group, it's still not as large as Clay County schools. We're the largest employer within Clay County. We do some things that people don't realize. We're also a big business, believe it or not. So superintendent wears 2 hats. One, I'm a CEO and a businessman. And then my heart is always with education and students, right? On the business side, you're talking about a $550 million venture and investment in Clay County students. When you take a look at that means a lot of things are happening that affect our economy within Clay County. We serve about 5.6 million meals. Like, people don't think of that, right? Like, all of a sudden, like, all the blue-haired ladies in the cafeteria, that's 5.6 million meals. That's make us the largest restaurant in Clay County. If you take a look at just transportation, a lot of you probably, how many of you ever got stuck behind a bus? And I promise it's not the same bus, or it might be, depending on your timing, but 3.2 million miles. So to give you an idea how far that is, that's if you put a bus on the equator and went around the world 129 times, that's the number of miles put on school buses in Clay County. So then when you think about it, it requires a lot of people to make sure the maintenance on those buses are good. Just think of the cost of fuel to go 3.2 million miles and the employees involved, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a big business is the aspect that I'm trying to point out here. 6.7 million square feet of air-conditioned space. So yes, we have HVAC people employed just to kind of keep it all going, right? And just the number of people involved to keep what we do going is really tremendous. The impact on the community is simple, right? A good, vibrant school system not only prepares students, but it's also good for real estate. People don't move to an area where the school system is terrible. They're not attracted to go there. In an area where you have a good school system, people go there, and you can see the growth in Clay County. And I really believe that when the Beltway is finished, you'll see more and more of that as it becomes easier to access Clay County. And we're no longer as isolated from an infrastructure standpoint as we were previously. Well, what is it that we do in Clay County schools? We do a lot of different things. But first of all, let me just be clear. We've got a great school system. And that's just not me telling you that as superintendent. This is what the state of Florida is saying in comparison to the other 67 counties. While it's not a competition, I'm extremely competitive. I come from a family of 10. I'm number 9 out of 10 children. So even dinner was competitive in the Broskie house, right? So we look at that, we say, okay, why wouldn't I want the very best for the children that go to school in Clay County? And that's kind of the mindset and the attitude that I bring to bear. We're an A-rated school district. We're in the top 10 in virtually every statistical category of measurement when it comes to student assessment, et cetera. Very proud of all that. Not going to read all that to you. Our 95% graduation rate's the highest in history of Clay County. So a lot of good things happening in the school system from an academic perspective. And going into career and tech ed, you know, students really, when you look at it, they have 3 choices when they get to the end of high school. They're either going to enroll in some additional education, whether that's trade school, college, et cetera. They're going to be employed. They're going to, good old fashioned, they're going to get a job somewhere, or they're going to enlist in the military. Really, most everything fits into one of those 3 categories. So I've heard the speakers before talking about a one-size-fits-all mentality, and I'm proud to say that we don't have a one-size-fits-all mentality within Clay County schools. 44% of our student families fill out the FAFSA, which, if you know what that is, it's the government financial aid application process, which is an indication of how many students are actually going to 4-year universities. So if 44% filled it out, you would say there's probably a margin of error in which people will fill out the application but not actually do that. So the number would be less than 44% of students in Clay County go on to a 4-year college. So I've spent a great deal of focus and time. There are various programs that assist those students. And one of the challenges of being a superintendent is you have to be everything to everybody. Right? Think about that, right? Every family is different. Every student learner is different. Every expectation is different. So you got to have programs across the gamut of people. So on the college prep side, that less than 44% statistic, we have many are advanced programs, whether they're AP, ACE, IB, et cetera. You name it, we got it for that segment of our population. But we do have other programs for the other segment. And there's a very deep acknowledgement of the fact that not every student goes to school. And I think it's kind of ironic that I'm superintendent, because of the 10 children in my family, I'm the only one that went to college and got a college degree. And I always laugh because my kids, when they were in school, they would say to me, "Dad, you just don't know anything about school." And I would say, you know, I've been in school every year since I've been 5. Literally every year of my life since I've been 5. I know a little bit about school, right? What I do know is this, you know, public education has to provide services for everyone. And if you have less than 44% of your population going down that track, you better have robust programs for the other majority of people, and what I heard articulated by several presenters. And so we're proud of the work that we do. You know, a lot of times people will say CTE is vocational. That term vocational is kind of old school. How many of you use the term vocational? It's okay to admit it. Okay, yeah. That's new term, career and tech education. It's not vocational anymore. You can see from the chart, I'm not going to read to you, that how the changes of that occur. Like, it's not just simple. When I went to school, let's see, I took wood shop and I took metal shop in high school. And I remember it vividly being in those 2 classes. They were exploratory for me. Obviously, I didn't wind up in that career, but the idea of vocational education is different and has evolved into what we currently call career and technical education. So here are different industry certifications that are provided. If you look at this, has anybody ever met somebody you work with and you say, that person doesn't know nothing? Anybody ever had that happen to them, right? Like, hey, who is this person working here? They don't know anything, right? What industry certification does, it provides validity to a potential employer as to the skill set that the student has, right? I was talking to an employer in Clay County, and what he basically said is, hey, I love your students, but what I want to emphasize to you is that some of the more refined parts of my business, I have to teach to everybody. But if they have a good work ethic and they show up on time and they have some of those soft skills, we can mold them into exactly what we need as an employer for that individual. So industry certifications, I think a little over 1,900 industry certifications last year. I'm going to play a little video for you that kind of encapsulates all of CTE. If you press play.
As you prepare to embark on your high school journey, the Clay County School District has something extraordinary in store for you. And we have over 30 career technical education programs for you to choose from. The CTE programs were created with you in mind, so you can explore your passions and interests while gaining practical skills that set you apart after high school. Our goal for you is to cultivate opportunities through hands-on experience that builds practical knowledge, all while earning certifications for the real world. From industry standard state-of-the-art facilities to gardens that feed the community, your high school years could include a wide range of activities. As you prepare for high school, remember, your journey does not have to be average. You can start today by exploring the diverse CTE programs within the Clay County School District. Your future awaits.
So that's sort of like a hype video for 8th graders going into high school, kind of showing that the world's a little bigger than they thought it was before going. How many people knew that all of that is happening within Clay County schools? Like, that's a whole thing that's happening out there. A lot of times people don't realize that. People will say, hey, where's the VOTEC Center? Like, where's the VOTEC building? Like, that kind of thing. It's actually embedded within high school. So students have both the high school experience that people typify most high school experiences, but also have the benefit of having those courses. We have about 120 teachers within there, about 1,900 CTE certifications, 11,000 students are involved in CTE education programs in Clay County schools. So when I started off talking about providing everything to everybody, that's a huge segment of folks that are involved in those programs. There's a whole range of programs. I'm kind of going to go through these quickly for the sake of time. We have agriculture, food, and natural resources. You can see the high schools listed there. We generally try to base that on geographic region as well as interest in that particular program. You can see here's automotive. You can see Clay High, Middleburg, and Orange Park all have automotive programs. We have engineering, architecture. You can see all the high schools there listed and the programs that are present at those schools, as well as technology and communication. You can see the schools that are listed there. All of these things are happening in school while the high school that you dreamed of when you were in school, all of that is still happening, right? Kids are still going to prom. Kids are still doing all of those things, but they're also learning valuable life skills for after school. What do I do after school? And I remember giving a presentation to a group of parents whose kids were seniors. And I said, hey, you're either going to enroll in college, you're either going to be employed or join the military. And she started yelling, amen, from the back. It's like, hey, get off the couch and, get a job, right? And so that's really the skills that are needed are taught right there in Clay County schools. So you can kind of see there's our business management administration. Here you can see education there. We do have child care centers within our high schools. That's an added perk of being an employee, is that your child can attend school to receive child care at a cost, at a reduced rate, I should say. Health sciences, all of that's happening there. You can also see tourism, hospitality and tourism, and all the schools that have those industries attached to it. Information technology, that's all going on in schools also. Law, public safety, and security. Here's a brand new one. I was proud to see the slide, advanced manufacturing, on Anna's presentation. I noted that was either the top or the second most. It looked like a very large need for advanced manufacturing. Proud that we're offering 2 new programs in 25, 26. So then the question is, how do you engage with us? Because, if there's one thing I learned about education, it's the ultimate team endeavor. Everyone has a responsibility. So I'm going to challenge you, all of you that are here today, to realize you too have a responsibility, right? We all live in Clay County and want good things for Clay County. Well, part of that is giving back to that. And we have a lot of folks that give back to our school system that we're going to highlight today. What can you do? Industry certifications, dual enrollment, career shadowing, internships. You're going to see from community partners. I see CCUA here and others that give internships to our students to give them valuable real-world experiences, as well as work with professional scholarships, career and tech ed organizations. You can see the QR codes there. You could be guest speakers. You can host field trips. There's a whole variety of ways in which people currently do engage, and we want more people to engage with the school system. You can see a whole list of those when you click on the QR code. We got several business partners that are here today. I know Kelly's going to be doing are we calling it a fireside chat? Okay, fireside chat with some of our business partners. I see Michael Ratchin out there from ViStar Credit Union, and we have bank branches within some of our high schools, and a whole program for students that's cultivated. Garber Automosa, Zach here, great business partner for Clay County District Schools. And you have the Garber Automotive Academy at Middleburg High School. Again, notice the close partnership with business and industry within the county for our students. We're truly blessed. CCUA, as I mentioned before, And they'll be part of that fireside chat. The Sheriff's Office, we also have a law enforcement academy at Clay High, so we're building those relationships. St. Vincent's Clay, the needs of the medical industry with CNA qualified individuals. The Haskell Company is another big promoter. Business Partnership, I saw NEFBA here. Lots of great things that they do for our school system. So I would just say that just in general, partnering together to help solve some of the workforce needs of our community, absolutely necessary. I thank the community for their support. Can't do it alone. How many people realize, being in education today might be the toughest time ever in the history, right? Being a teacher today is challenging. Anybody ever look on Facebook? Right? I'm going to start a new campaign. I call it Facts, Not Facebook, Truth, Not Twitter, Information, Not Instagram. Okay? Sign up on my blog and I'll tell you stories, right? So sometimes people don't realize and are quick to judge. And so I'm very thankful that we have a great school system. I know that Kelly and Alice do a great job. We're going to hear from the foundation that also does a great job. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie Vineyard from Challenge Enterprise, another great partner in the work.
So I'm so happy to be here today to share Challenge Enterprises with you. Challenge Enterprises has been promoting the power of people and possibility since 1972. Now, I started out in 1991. I'm also a proud product of the Clay County school system. I went to W. Cherry a few years ago and graduated from Orange Park High School just a couple of years ago, too. Actually, I even went to Head Start when I was 4 years old. Anybody remember Head Start? Evidently, I was from a low-income family. I wasn't aware of that, but I did get on the big bus at 4 years old. I couldn't even tie my shoes. But here I am today. Challenge Enterprises has been promoting the power of people and possibility since 1972, providing services to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We still do that and so much more. Some of our programs, residential services, supported employment, club challenge, adult day training. I'll get into that a little bit more. Our business lines, some things that people might not realize, but Challenge Enterprises is a pretty big employer in Clay County. Not like the school district, of course, but yesterday I looked, we had 319 employees. These are our various business lines that we have right now. We're always looking for more. I think one thing that we're trying to tiptoe into is laundry services. So we're all about finding businesses that we can hire people with disabilities. Here's some of our customers that you can see. We have federal government contractors. We are a federal government contractor. We are required to have 75% of our direct labor employees have disabilities. We are about 80% of that. So some of the things you can see, I wanted to highlight FREEZE, Fleet Readiness Center Southeast. That contract we've had since 1988. We still have it. And today when I was chit-chatting, talked to nice Logan over here, and Logan was telling me, my brother works at FREEZE. So we're going to keep an eye on her brother, make sure he's doing fine. She said he loves his job. And what's not to love? He gets benefits, paid vacation, sick leave, holidays, and he has a good manager, and a nice system that helps him with whatever his disability may be. That's just one of the things that we do. We also shred for the IRS. You see the IRS up there? We provide their shredding services. Our secure document destruction business is called Shred for Good. Now, we've got a young man that works for us in Shred for Good. He started out in 2009 as a janitor at the ViStar call center when we used to have that contract when it was in existence. And he did that for several years. That contract ended, he went over to our Shred for Good in our warehouse in Green Cove Springs. I think that was 2012. He was there for a while. Well, he went up to his manager and said, hey, I need to make more money. I've got some goals. I want an apartment, I want a car, and I want a girlfriend. So, of course, the manager said, well, can help you on the first two, but not the third. That Challenge Enterprises, we're a full-service agency, but we are not a matchmaker. Not yet. Maybe later. But anyway, we had a job opportunity for him to drive the 26-foot truck. Well, he was a little bit afraid of that, of course. Who wouldn't be? So he's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it, kind of thing. Okay. He came back several months later. They talked again, and they talked about how they would train him slowly and see how he did. So he started doing it. Fast forward today, he is still there. His name is Denard. One time I was speaking and talking about Denard. One of his prior teachers was out there, and she was so happy to hear how well he was doing. He's a great CSR. Everyone loves Denard. Moving on. Work is power. This is all about people with disabilities. So last year they worked 213,000 hours. Look at their wages, almost $3.6 million. They average $17.20 an hour wage. Many get benefits. And we had 287 employees with disabilities last year. Our residential program, just going to kind of glide through these real quick. We have group homes. We provide 24/7 supervision. Our adult day training program is in Green Cove Springs, where we have a warehouse. We provide work opportunities there, and always interested in more. That's where our Shred for Good business is located. Our Club Challenge, fairly new program, 2018. They do great things. We get a state appropriation grant every year. And the club is the bridge to personal growth and independence. So when the school bus ends, which it does, right, David? It does end, and Club Challenge begins. That's the volunteer hours that they did last year, the impact of the community. And the volunteer is one way we teach them how to work. They work on self-advocacy and many other things. Food for Clay County, you've probably heard about that. We are the hub, so pantries can pick up food. We have the county commodities contract that we've had for decades. We deliver food to the senior citizen sites throughout Clay County, a few other places. We do a food distribution every Friday in Green Cove Springs. Supported employment. That's really what I wanted to talk to y'all about since this is a workforce summit. So our supported employment program, we do many things. One, we work with the Clay County School District, partner with them in their transition programs. We provide coaching, job coaches, to 3 different sites. We're at Kindred Hospital in Green Cove Springs. We're at Penny Retirement Community in Penny Farms, and we're at Doctors Inlet Elementary School. So we're teaching the students how to work, to get them ready for the workforce. So our community coaches, we're a vocational rehabilitation provider, and they go out throughout the community to find employment. So they are referred from Voc Rehab, and that also dictates how long we will be their coach. But the coach's job is to help them find a job, learn the job, and maintain the job. Some of the benefits of hiring people with disabilities, I'll let you read that. So what we're doing is this brand new program. I guess we talked about it a few months ago, Champion of Business Leadership. So what we're really looking for is businesses in the community that will do a few things and say that they're a champion of business leadership. So what is Challenge Enterprises going to do? Well, we're going to recognize your business on all of our social media platforms. And we are out there on social media and on our website. We'll give you a plaque. We'll get some publicity. It's a big deal. But what we want you to do is to say that you will do these things. Learn about employing individuals with disabilities and benefits for your business. Be knowledgeable about reasonable accommodations and accessibility. Commit to hiring individuals with disabilities. Create pathways to employment for individuals with disabilities. Now, another little story, we had a lady during the pandemic, she went through our Project Search program out at Kindred Hospital with the school district. She finished that and the pandemic was going on and, where was she going to work, that type of thing. Well, what we did, we had problems too at our commissary. We couldn't find employees that could work during this time. I know y'all remember that. So we created this Tiger team. So we had this young lady, Michaela, that was part of the Tiger team. Now, she's the only one left so many years later, I think. And she started with the Tiger team, and she is still there today. She has her car now, so she's more independent, and she goes to work every day at our commissary. Just wanted to share that, how she started her pathway. Who knows where she'll go from here. So what we're looking for is businesses to become a champion. And we're going to start promoting this and have some postcards that'll, ask you for your commitment so that we can come out and talk to you really about it and how it can benefit you and how it can benefit people with disabilities. We're also everywhere. Hopefully you know us. I don't know. Has everybody heard of Challenge Enterprises? Pretty much. I know I talked to the IKO people, so they know. We're very interested in that. So right here, this is the ability experience at the Gate River Run. We've been doing that the past few years. We are involved with Gear Up Florida. Let's see, what else do we do? Our Club Challenge supports a lot of nonprofits fundraisers. Yesterday, they were at Empty Bowls. If any of y'all were at the Salvation Army Empty Bowls yesterday, Club Challenge was there setting up. They also paid to just be there, just like everybody else. They also help with their golf tournament. So I'm trying to catch us up. So I'm going to end it right there. This is what I really want you to do, is to reach out and touch us so we can meet you and talk more about our champions of business leadership and make you an up for the challenge workplace. Thank you. Next up is the fireside chat.
Great. Good morning. My name is Kelly Mosley, and I'm one of 2 career and technical education supervisors for the Clay County School District. My colleague, Alice Paulk, is also here as well, and I'll go ahead and invite our guest up for our fireside chat. This morning, we have Michael Rathjen, who's the Vice President for School Programs for ViStar Credit Union, Zach Moore, who is the Operations Manager for Garber Auto Mall, and Kimberly Richardson, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer for Clay County Utility Authority. And so as Mr. Broskie talked about earlier, these are 3 great examples of the work that business partners in this community do within our school district. And so I'm excited to hear from them firsthand about their experiences because, of course, we are so proud of our students and teachers in the Clay County School Districts, and we're going to brag on you and tell you how great they are. But these people can give you the real world firsthand experiences of what it's like to work with our students, work with our CTE teachers, and how it has been, I believe, mutually beneficial for them and for our community. So the first thing that I want to ask you guys is to briefly tell us about your organization and kind of what your involvement is and how and when you started. And we'll start with Kimberly.
I'm Kimberly Richardson with Clay County Utility Authority. We serve the public water and wastewater systems of the greater Clay County area, and we reach out to Keystone and some of Stark. We started with our programs in 2015 and have maintained an active internship through the Clay County School District since then.
Awesome. Good morning, Michael Rathjen with ViStar Credit Union. We started our program back in 2007 originally, so we're just finishing up our 18th year of partnering with career and technical education. We started in 2008 here in Clay County. We have a total of 4 programs in Clay County. As a full program, we're in 19 different high schools across 8 different school districts. This year, we provided 204 year-long paid interns to high school students who are interested in the world of business. And it's been an incredible journey, and we're honored to be partnered with Clay County District Schools.
My name's Zach Moore with Garber Auto Mall, obviously here to serve all of your automotive needs in Clay County.
That's
So
right.
Please.
It's the last day of the month.
Time. It is the last day of the month. We need a couple of so that'll help us support the children in the community.
That's right. Yep.
We've been doing this for 2 years. We got involved with the Middleburg Automotive Academy 2 years ago. Obviously, we've been intimately involved with the school system well before then, but that's where we're at today.
All right, and so all three of these business partners, they do a lot for career and technical education, but their service goes far beyond career and technical education. Athletics, the science programs, the foundation with the Teacher of the Year support. So while we work very closely with them, they are doing a tremendous work for the entire community. So creating a high school internship program requires good commitment of time and resources to establish. Beyond solving employment recruitment needs, what other surprise benefits has your company realized from the partnership? And we'll start with Zach.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the company branding has been huge for us, right? And then the relationships that we've built throughout the community have been big. Those continue to build year in, year out. And 2 years into this, the relationship with the family, the students, and then the exposure to the program has allowed for other employment opportunities for us. So we've been able to build other areas of our business because of what we're doing in the school system.
So just to add on, because of course the positive publicity, and it's interesting when you do the right thing for the right reasons at the right time, it tends to get recognized. That's not why we started the program, but it was a huge benefit afterwards. So to add on, having the students in our branches and in our corporate offices, it really re-energized our current workforce. Because when you have something that may have been mundane or just kind of a task that someone's been doing for X amount of years, well, when they have a student who's there, who's interested to learn, who's engaged, who wants to know how this connects to their curriculum, who's ready to take a step in their career, then you see kind of the backbone of your staff go. They kind of perk up and go, oh, well, I'll show you. Because they become the industry expert, and so it really does help revitalize your current workforce as well.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but I have to emphasize just everything that they've said. Definitely the branding. I can't tell you before, we started this internship, we'd often tell people what we do, and they'd be like, where are you? What do you do? Because, we're part of the Clay County area. A lot of people are well and septic, so not a lot of people are aware of the water, wastewater industry. So definitely the branding, I would say, is a huge thing. But also the interorganizational growth. I mean, to see the intergenerational interaction, to see the tenured staff being able to teach these new students. I mean, it really kind of it's something that is a pleasure to see, really.
Mm-hmm.
So how has this career exposure through CTE or internships impacted your workforce? And maybe as part of that, maybe you can kind of tell us some of the why you decided to start the internship programs with the school district. And we'll start with Kimberly.
I tell you, back in probably 2014, 2015, we were seeing a huge decline in licensed water and wastewater operators, which is a very big deal. Obviously, the water and wastewater industry is heavily regulated. And it takes time. It takes time for those individuals to come into our industry and be licensed to run a plant. So that was initially why we started the internship, so we could kind of get that early interaction and create a pipeline with the students of Clay County, and obviously keep the talent from within Clay County in Clay County.
Mm-hmm. So similar to the utility authority is getting involved, obviously, to help identify talent. But that was probably a third or fourth thought. As a credit union, the philosophy is people helping people. And so once we learned about what career and tech ed was meant to offer, we decided to partner in the sense of let's help bring the learning to life. How real can we make the experience? And so that was the origin of why we decided to get involved. But then from our business needs side is, we have the philanthropic outreach of providing financial education to our community. So this was one of our ways to get involved at an earlier stage in people's lives because when you set out to help the community, you can either stay downriver, which is needed to help pull people out of the situations or throw them resources, or you can go upriver and go, why are you falling into these challenges, financial challenges and pitfalls? So this was a strategic way for us to get in front of our community, provide financial education. And so far to date, we've reached over 155,000 students with various forms of financial education. And then the talent development was an added bonus for sure.
I'm no longer going after Michael. So, I mean, Kelly came to us and really gave us a tour of the programs at Middleburg High School, and we were finding a disconnect in the programs that the state was teaching in the ASE certification and what was in the real world. So that transfer from the school system to where we needed them to be was difficult. So we started talking about making that transfer easier for the students. Obviously, we need a workforce. But it was important for us to invest in the kids so that they had the opportunity to really go into the workforce, not just have the base ASE certification, which is an educational certification, a little lower than we needed it to be. So they were finding jobs at a much lower rate, and we wanted to give them the opportunity to grow. That's really what we wanted to do. So was it, were we there self-motivated? Absolutely. To find highly qualified automotive technicians, very difficult. Much better for us to bring them up from 17 years old than it is to go out and find one, because then they understand and believe our culture, which has been incredible for us, by the way. The cultural effect of those young students coming in the shop has been incredible. But that's kind of where the transition, what we found. We found that need. We said we need to fill it, and then it's filled for us. And we have those students coming in not only on our automotive technical side, right? They're not just coming in to fix our cars anymore. We have service advisors, we have office staff. There's a lot of staff that have come out of that program. So we fulfilled needs that we didn't see, right, through this program. So we were kind of laser pointed, let's just train them how to be auto mechanics. And we developed so much more. So that's probably the biggest impact that we saw.
So I can remember several years ago, it was actually with Jeremy's predecessor, and he was telling me, like, we have this aging workforce, and I think Kimberly was there at that time too, and so we're talking about that, and I'm like, you have to get these students in there earlier. We cannot wait until they are 18 years old and they have graduated from high school and they have walked across that football field with their diploma. We don't have them captive anymore. We don't see them every day. They're gone. And so my point was to them, and they have taken it to heart, and you can see the benefits was we have to get them in there here earlier for career shadowing, for clinicals, for internships, because once they're out in the real world, we can't have as big of an impact as we can whenever our teachers, our college and career coaches, our school counselors, our administrators are able to kind of guide them and direct them to your businesses. So this has been huge for our students, and I'd be interested to hear some of your best practices that you've found, one or two best practices as you have developed your program over the years, and they're representing different industries. So I'll let Zach go ahead and kick this one off since he didn't want to come behind Michael.
Thank you.
We'll let Zach give some of their best practices from Garber.
15,000, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, and I thank Michael, by the way. I pick with him all the time, but he really helped us develop our program. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. When we first got into our development of the program, it was kind of an internship. We brought the students into the schools or into the shops. And we've seen that develop, obviously, into the outside shop at Middleburg High School. But bringing them both back and forth has really allowed them to see who we are and what the culture is. And I think that's a big disconnect, right? For some of these kids, they don't understand that those school hours and the work hours are different. And we get to get them involved, see what the culture is, see what our vision is, what our mission is. And it kind of buys them into the program. So there's a much deeper investment from the student when they see that. So that's been one of our biggest accomplishments.
Mm-hmm. My turn?
Sure.
Thanks. Yeah. So we've learned a lot over the years. It takes a lot of work to run a program to the degree that we have over the years. And as you've grown your programs, you guys know that, but it's worth the work. So some best practices of working with the students is cast a vision, because they can't dream or imagine what they don't even know exists, right? So talk about the possibilities of what this type of experience and this exposure it could lead to, right? Talk about the lifestyle or the money or the career opportunities or the things that are attractive to them. There's been a saying, right? It's hard to, you can't clean a fish until you catch it, right? So you have to engage the students and get them excited about what the future could be. But then we quickly pivot back to almost talking them out of it, because it's work. And in our world of finances, you have to be accurate. You have to be trustworthy. You have to be confidential. And so we share this big picture, but then we front load with expectations pretty heavily. We hold them to a very high standard. I highly recommend you have some sort of filtering process. Even if you're bringing on one intern, go through an interview type process, make it as big of a deal as it is. So then you get that balance, right? So they're excited, but then they're also very focused and accountable. And then from the school district and partner side, build relationships all the way around. We're fortunate in Clay County because we have such stability with the leadership, with the administration, with Kelly and Alice and their teams. But that's not like that all the time. And then there's just natural turnover. At some point, Superintendent Broskie will move on. Things change. So build those relationships 360 degrees around the school and around the entire district.
And definitely structure and mentorship are huge. I think, you've got to keep these kids engaged. Engagement, once you have them engaged, you have them listening, you have them looking and switching. Don't be afraid to kind of move them around the organization because like Zach was saying, if you move them around, you let them see the different parts of the organization. I can't tell you how many interns that we've had that either come in thinking they know what they want to do or they have no idea what they want to do. And then they find a niche and maybe something that they didn't even know existed. And next thing you know, they're wanting to pursue a career in that. That to me is one of the biggest things you can take away from an internship is, changing a child's life and giving them, a career and, like I said, an industry that they didn't know existed. So structure, mentorship, I think is huge.
And so along the lines of structure, they all have their own internship packets that they have developed specific to their needs that they want. And so we advertise that to our students in the career and technical education programs. On many cases, our college and career coaches collect those, and then we pass those along to the business partners, and then they're the ones that are doing the interviews. Sometimes we're involved in those, like with ViStar, some of our school team members will be on those interviews. But for the others, it's CCUA and it's Garber, and they make those decisions as to who they're going to hire. So the school district is basically the awareness piece and kind of the recruiting piece. But at the end of the day, the business partners are the ones that are making the decisions in terms of the structure of their program and who they're actually going to hire to be one of their interns. So trying to make up a little bit of time here on our schedule, tell us if there has been a favorite success story or what you see as the best part of this program for you personally. So either a success story or your favorite part of the program. And we'll start with Kimberly.
Ooh, I have several favorite success stories, but if I must just tell one, I tell you in 2015 when we started doing the internship, I was a bit apprehensive. I'm like, okay, we're going to bring these students in. They're young. Where do we put them? Do we put them inside? No, that's boring for them, right? They want to go out. They want to see the field. We had one young lady come in, and of course, when we go through the internship interviews, we asked them what they're interested in. And this young lady specifically stated that she was interested in wastewater. We did not at the time have any wastewater operators that were females. And even to this day, the wastewater industry is not heavily populated with females. And I'm thinking, we are not putting her out there in the wastewater field. She'd hate it, Well, let me tell you, that was 10 years ago. She is still with us, and she is in a lead position. So that is absolutely my favorite.
I love it. That's a great example of didn't know it existed, but then there's thriving in it. So, yeah.
All right, Michael, you got a success story?
Well, again, same. We have so many, and I appreciate the question because we have to. I can walk you through several success stories of students who've gone through our program for all 3 years and then have become gainfully employed in a high skill, high wage position and have moved on. And those are relevant. Those are real. I'm back down to the basics. I love it. We just selected 204 interns to start for this following school year. And I just imagine that student's going back to their parents and saying, I got picked for the internship. They're buying their first professional outfit, right? They're prepping for the interview and their first day of work. And this is in some of our school districts, our students earn more per hour than their parents with their internship. And so I want to just bring it back down to the significance of that, just impacting that one student's life and that one family trajectory, because you have no idea how, and we have some data we can point to because we have ideas, we have proof, but just, you won't even know that all that's happening in the background, but just know that if you decide to host one intern, you're going to literally change the world for that student.
All right, Zach.
Thank you. I'm going to work for ViStar after this. Success. We've been doing this for 3 years, 2 years full-time in the school, but 3 years we've been involved with the academy at the school. And it's amazing the amount of success stories that we've had at this point. I don't know if you've heard of the mobile technicians that we have out on the road, but both of our mobile technicians are Middleburg High School graduates from the academy, and they're self-serving, they're out there, and they run all of those roles. They're the technician, they're the cashier, they're the service advisor, and we felt that they had the responsibility and the ability to go out there and handle our customers that way. And they're 2 to 3 years out of high school. One of our shop team leads is 3 years out of the high school program. Those kids are coming out so early now. My daughter is 17 years old. She's not my success story, by the way. She's my wife's. But she's a senior in high school, and she literally goes to school for one class. I did the same as a senior, but it wasn't acceptable then. But she's a full-time employee for us today, right? These kids at 17 years old are full-time employees. A lot of them are so far ahead in school that they're going into the workforce in that senior year, and you can start to build who they are and where their path is and give them these successes. So, these kids that we say are 2 or 3 years out of high school, they really have been in the program for 4, 5, 6 years. They're advanced past some of our employees that we hired off the street. So every time we have an intern that comes to us full-time, it's a success story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so whenever Mr. Broskie had the slide up there about all the different opportunities for business partners, these business partners, they don't only offer internships. They are doing so many things for us. They offer field trip sites. They're serving as mock job interviewers. They serve on our advisory board members. And so they just do a tremendous, tremendous job for us. And we couldn't provide these real world experiences for our students if we didn't have them and other business partners as well to bridge that kind of gap. So here's our last question. And so it's, what is one thing that businesses could start doing tomorrow to build a better connection? So for the business partners in here that maybe aren't involved, or maybe they should deepen their involvement, what is one thing that you feel like they could do tomorrow to get started or to grow their involvement?
Show up. Mm-hmm. Really, just show up. If you're there and present, you'll see the need. There's so much need in the school system and so much disconnect. If you just show up and see what's going on, you'll have the ability to figure out a program that's going to work for both you and the school system, and ultimately for the students. So just show up and work with the school system. If you want to spend a lot of money, show up and walk around with Kelly.
That's awesome. I was looking behind me to see if Kelly's contact information or Alice's contact info was up there. But that's the first thing, is to just reach out and get connected to your local school, and talk to the administrators and see where there's a need, and then match that with what your business needs are and how you can support them. And then don't be overwhelmed by some of the programs that are in existence. It's been said that you don't have to be great to start something, but you have to start something to be great, right? So just pick something. Job shadow, serve on an advisory board, be a guest speaker, offer one internship, and then you'll have no idea the potential of what it could grow into.
Communicate, definitely. If you have a need, or even if you don't have a need, I mean, meet with Kelly, Mr. Broskie. I tell you, I think we reached out to them one time and they made time for us to meet with them and collaborate with us. And they talked about our needs and the programs that they offer. There's so many different things that you can participate in to even kind of get a kind of an idea of the kids that are coming up. You can participate in the mock interviews, CTE tours. You can provide tours of your own facilities. There are so many different options that you can participate in, because if you think you know these students and what they're involved in, you really don't. I tell you, sit in those mock interviews and you would be wowed. These kids are amazing. You know, I participate in the mock interviews every year, and every year I say, those are the best kids I ever talked to, but every year they keep getting better and better. I mean, I think one of the interviews that I participated in this year, one of my questions was talking about social media and, you know, how they saw it. You know, you think all these kids are social media. I think 2 of the 3 kids that I talked to, they're like, I don't have social media. I'm like, what? You don't have social media? Yep. But they, you know, they're so involved in different programs and things like that, that they're like, we don't see the, you know, necessity in social media. So these kids they're pretty amazing. To have them involved in your business is a huge benefit.
All right, let's give our panelists a round of applause. And as they take their seats, we'll call up Carolyn Krall from the Clay County Education Foundation.
So I'm Carolyn Krall. I have the privilege of leading the Clay Education Foundation. Here we are. All right, so we are the direct support nonprofit organization for Clay County District Schools. We have terrific partners with the school system, with our community partners that you heard from here today. So whether we're funding STEM initiatives, educator support, or career and technical education, our foundation is investing in students. We actually sit at the intersection of a lot of the business relationships you hear today between the school system and our businesses. So we are a small team. We're a team of 2, but we have a pretty wide reach in our school district. We support 8 out of every 10 students in Clay County schools. And like you heard, echoed from our superintendent and our partners at ViStar and Garber Automall, we really are here to drive community engagement. You know, whether that's volunteer participation, talking with parents, leveraging, we actually have a state match. So we receive less than $100,000 from the state of Florida for things like educator support and career and technical education, all of those things that are helping our students be future ready. So we take that less than $100,000 state match and we raise 5 times that amount in terms of private investment. All of that stays right here in Clay County. So our core programs are all very much aligned with the school districts. Every year we sit down with the school district and we say, is this working for you? Are these, you know, helping our students become future ready? Does it help support parents and students? Are we engaging our community partnerships? And so we look at data, we look at surveys from teachers and whether or not we're achieving results to decide kind of what direction to go in. I'll run through this pretty quick, but one of our most impactful partnerships is with Garber Automall. So we run a free teacher supply store located, it's a permanent location inside Garber Automall. This year we served over 1,200 teachers and gave out $164,000 worth of school supplies. Many times we are loading up pencils and donations in the back of our car. So if you think of $164,000, that is a lot of pencils. That's a lot of notebooks that we're putting in our vehicles, collecting donations and purchasing in bulk and getting them down to Garber. All right, so for our Future Ready Clay program, we're leading efforts to increase access to post-secondary education and promote entry into high-wage, high-growth jobs. There are so many resources available now. I mean, you heard from our fabulous CTE department, ViStar, we volunteer with the financial literacy events, JAXUSA partnership, you heard from Dr. Anna Lebesch earlier. Students and parents can go to our website and access the EarnUp resources directly. So things like internships, apprenticeships, we are out there constantly promoting that information, supporting the career fairs, and really just trying to get students talking about what those next steps are after college or high school and how to plan. So why does it matter? We're helping students, whether it's a 2-year, 4-year technical trade, kind of help be prepared. If you look at this, so 72% of jobs will require education beyond high school by 2031. Our ladies over here that sponsored the program will be happy to know I was able to meet with one of our former students yesterday. She's in a welding apprenticeship program. And she came up to me, she's like, Miss Carolyn, I earned so much money and a 7-day job in Tennessee that I don't have to work for the rest of the month. And she was just so excited about that. So really just trying to highlight those programs and give access to our students. So if you look, so there's also an economic case to be made for education and training beyond high school. So this is actually from the Helios Foundation. They published a survey or a report recently. So the economic benefit in the state of Florida, if you were to increase college enrollment by 10%, would be $8.3 billion per year in the state of Florida. In Clay County, that would translate to about $58 million by increasing enrollment by 10%. So pretty impactful. These cuties over here are from Patterson Elementary, again, supporting those high growth jobs, introducing STEM initiatives early in elementary school. These guys made it to the state competition, and we had some support from STEM 2 Hub to help get them there. Scholarships, we serve as a fiscal agent for scholarships. Grants for Great Ideas, again, focusing on those STEM and literacy. So we invested over $22,000 in teacher-led classroom grants. These things are going to support like hands-on, STEM initiatives, robotics, all that's happening in our schools. Literacy, right? Kids need to be able to read, so we're really focusing on that 3rd grade reading proficiency by doing literacy events. And you heard a little bit, I think it was kind of mentioned slightly, but teacher and staff recognition. So if you didn't know, the #1 elementary school in the state of Florida is right here in Orange Park. Our teacher of the year up there is Amanda Watson. So the foundation works with community partners to support the teacher of the year event, and that's the Apple Awards. These are also, if you can see right here on the right, those are CTE students in the culinary who come out and do all of the food and catering for that event. Like I said, this doesn't happen, without our partners at ViStar, Garber. It's just a little bit of our impact. And again, echo what's been set up here already. Please engage with us, volunteer with us. Please volunteer with the school system. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. We don't do it alone. It doesn't happen without community and business support. And I think our next person is with CareerSource.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for that. I'm Carolyn. I'm Cheryl Taylor. I'm about to say vice president. Wow, I've done that for the past 10 years. And so for the past year, you wear a title so long, you kind of forget them sometimes. I'm actually the president and CEO of CareerSource Northeast Florida. And thank you so much for an opportunity to be here with you all today and tell you a little bit about who we are at CareerSource. And so just by show of hands, can you let me know if you all have heard of CareerSource before? Okay, well, that's a good thing. And how many of you think that we're the unemployment office? Okay, so this is going to be a short presentation because everything that I have here is to let you know that we are not the unemployment office, but we are here to provide services to businesses in Northeast Florida. And we provide those services in the 6 counties that you see listed here. And we have workforce development centers in all 6 counties, with 2 centers being in Duval County, one on the south side of Duval and the other on the north side of Duval, and that's our America Job Center there. So I'm not going to read through this slide, but what I consider us as a pivotal partner to economic development and to talent development here in the Northeast Florida area. And so we do that by partnering with businesses like you, as well as your local chambers and your economic development organizations, to really be that talent pipeline and to connect you as businesses to talent that is within that ecosystem. And I had the opportunity to hear from so many partners here today, those who provide services to people with disabilities, in school, we in school youth, out of school youth. Those are our touch points as well. And so that's who we are. We develop that talent to meet your business needs. And we do those through multiple means. So how do we serve businesses in particular? We serve you all by connecting you again to the talent that you need through our Employ Florida marketplace system, Employ Florida system. And it's a job portal that you can access to get the talent that you need, and you can recruit from across the state of Florida. So it's not just a local database, but it's a database that will allow you to recruit across Florida. And if there are people that are registered from other states as well, you'll be able to recruit nationally. We host job fairs and recruitments virtually and in person, again, with the sole intent to connect you to that right employee. We provide labor market information. We just recently launched the CareerSource Northeast Florida Talent and Labor Market Dashboard. And that's a dashboard that you can access to get metrics and data points to help you in your business planning. So if you get the opportunity, I really want to encourage you to visit CareerSource Northeast Florida, CareerSourceNEFL.com to access that information. One of the premier services that we offer is employer-based service. And as I sat in and I listened to the need of Garber and the need of ViStar, I thought about the many opportunities that might exist for us to partner with you all around that. Employer-based service can include customized service as well as apprenticeships. And so today is National Apprenticeship Day, and apprenticeships is something that you absolutely should consider when you're building out your future talent pipeline. So these are some of the employer-based trainings that we've offered in the past and we're currently offering. There are a few that I'd like to talk about in a little bit more detail, and they're surrounding the medical field. Your certified nursing assistants, licensed practical nurses, and surgical technicians. Recently, we partnered with Ascension St. Vincent's on customized services to assist with the need they had. And so that need was they needed more surgical technicians. And so we partnered with them and developed a small class to take people who were not in the direct service, the direct clients field, but worked more in administrative and clerical positions, food industry, the food service part of the hospital. And they trained those employees to become surgical technicians. At the end of that training, those employees were earning between 9% and 20% more. So as we talk about ways to really build that workforce, oftentimes we need to look within our own organizations to see if there's an opportunity for growth, for upskilling, and retention as well. There are many benefits to employer-based training, and you have a few listed there. I can tell you that for the employees that are able to take advantage, especially in the case of St. Vincent's, the loyalty that was there because that employer invested in them to help them skill up and to get some additional credentials, that goes a long ways. So when you're looking at employer-based service, it really is a win-win. It's a win for the employee, and it's a win for you as the employer and the business as well. And so I'm going to talk a little bit now about employment statistics, and we will start with unemployment statistics. As you look at those numbers, just know that our unemployment overall is still very low here in the Northeast Florida area, even though there has been some softening in the economy. Our MSA is 3.6% for the Jacksonville Metropolitan Service Area. For Orlando, it's about 3.5%. The Tampa MSA is 3.5%. And the MSA for Fort Lauderdale is 3.3%. And Miami-Dade is 2.8%, which is the lowest in the state. But again, the economy is overall strong, but we are seeing some softening. And so what is some of the labor market information for Clay County? And so for Clay County, the labor force grew slightly from about 115,000 in 2023 to just over 116,000 in 2024. Employment also rose, but at a smaller pace, somewhere from around 11,000 to about 112,000 from about 111,000 to about 112,000. As a result, the number of unemployed individuals increased from about 3,300 to just under 3,900 in Clay County. Overall, for Northeast Florida, our workforce expanded by about 10,000 people to 884,000 in 2004. And the labor market was not able to absorb all of those additional entrants, those additional 10,000. And so the unemployment rate did increase a little, but again, our workforce and our labor force is strong. So labor force participation in Clay County. Labor force really does measure the number of people who are working or are looking for work. And so when you look at this number for 16 years and older, that's at 62.2%. But when we take a look at that core number that we're looking at, and we often work with, that prime number of 25 to 54, again, it demonstrates a strong labor force participation. Our goal at CareerSource Northeast Florida is really to begin reaching out to those younger adults and try to engage them, find out some of the reasons that they're not engaging in the labor force, and see what we can do, because we all heard earlier today about that demographic drought. So we really are going to have to be more intentional about reaching out to young adults to get them engaged. Again, the unemployment rate in Clay County is relatively low. However, when we consider unemployment and we do an overlay with labor force participation, some of the things that we know are a barrier to unemployment is childcare. And so we are partnering with Florida Chamber to talk about needs around childcare. A number that I heard this week is that the average cost of childcare is $10,000 a year for one kid. That's minimum, right? So imagine being a parent and having two kids. So oftentimes it's cheaper for a parent to stay at home while the other works instead of entering the workforce. So again, we're having conversations with stakeholders, businesses, and the Florida Chamber around this. The other thing that we ask businesses to consider as it comes to labor force participation and unemployment is if you have an opportunity to be flexible in your work hours when hiring, it really is a way to engage people who may not otherwise have an opportunity to come into the workforce. And so we know that people are retiring a little bit earlier, but that doesn't mean they don't want to work, right? So if you're willing to have a hybrid or a flexible work schedule, it provides them an opportunity to come back into that workforce. And there's actually a name for that. Instead of internship, which is what we absolutely encourage you to do to engage young adults, it's called returnship. And so if you're looking for someone who has experience, who's looking to return back to the workforce, please consider that as an opportunity. Returnship, bringing them back into the workforce. something you consider. I heard I can't think of her name, but she was with the Challenge program. And so also giving people who have other abilities or disabilities an opportunity to participate in the workforce. That will absolutely affect that unemployment rate and increase labor force participation as well. Wages here in the Clay County area. I can tell you that I believe it was back in 2004-ish, the wages, the solid line there here in Clay County really increased at about a 5.7 increase rate over Florida as well as the national rate. And so Clay County is the pay is increasing at a faster rate here in Clay as opposed to nationally and in Florida. And to share it with you, the top industries here in Clay County, what this slide demonstrates is healthcare as well as retail. And so again, when you're looking at some of those wage numbers, just know that those are some of the industries that are heavily impacting those numbers here in Clay County. The top occupations, the first 5 of those occupations, and I'll get with Lindsey and ask her to please share this presentation with you all. It'll be much clearer. But this is the top 10 occupations here in Clay County. The top 4 of those occupations are primarily in retail. And then the last half are mixed with food service industries as well as the medical industry. So I think what today is about for the Workforce Summit is power and partnerships. That's why we are all here. And so we work with some of you closely, and then there's others that I really want to make sure that my team and I meet today before we leave. We partner closely with all of the chambers and the economic development corporations, but we also partner closely with the Talent Advisory Network, which is TAN. It's a partnership with the Jacksonville, USA. And we go in, it really is more of a listening session where we're listening to you as businesses and we're listening to people in the education sector. And we're talking about how we can come together to really solve that talent pipeline issue that we know is going to be existing, not just now, but in years to come, and how we can work together to build the skill sets that are needed for the future. And so I ask you all to connect with us today. I have a handful of my team sitting here. I'm going to ask that you either wave your hands really quick or stand up, because we are here to absolutely work with you and to connect with you and to assist you in building your talent pipeline for the future. It doesn't matter if you're an employer, if you're a job seeker yourself, or if you're a community partner. We want to connect with all of you. And so I have listed as a primary contact for businesses our Vice President of Economic and Business Development, Melissa Terbergen. And so again, thank you so much for the opportunity to share a little with you about who we are as CareerSource Northeast Florida. And I am going to invite the next presenter up, Mr. Brad Bishop. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We're getting there. I'm Brad Bishop, Coordinator of Workforce Development with Clay County Schools and Adult and Community Education. And so what I'm here today to talk about is those students who didn't quite pass or get to the finish line. What we do and who we are is we are a post-secondary institution within Clay County District Schools, and we focus each year with providing education. This slide is I had a little typo here. It's more like 1,300 students that we help through different programs, GED, ESOL, and some others. Some of the programs that we offer and the services are GED and ESOL classes. We have the GED and Pearson View Testing Center in Clay County. We also offer career certificates and workforce training, and also transition services. So in Florida, approximately 10% of adults age 25 and older have no GED, they haven't graduated high school. And in Clay County, it's more like 7%. And about 10% of Clay County's population ages 5 and older speak English as their second language. So that just demonstrates the need for the GED and ESOL program in Clay County. These are some of the program data from this previous school year, and it is a little hard to see, but you can see the total enrollment for our GED and ESOL programs, as well as the GED program that we offer in corrections at the Clay County Jail. We also partner with Camp Blanding and the National Guard and have the Florida Youth Challenge. Some of our program trends. GED's been down over the last 3 years, just a little bit, but you can see ESOL is up 67%. Our IET programs, which I'll talk a little bit about later, is just in its infancy the last 3 years. You can see it's really started to grow. What the IET program is an opportunity for students in the GED program or the ESOL program to work on a career certificate simultaneously. So they have an opportunity to earn the GED and a career certificate at the same time. Some more program trends. You can see this past school year, the highest enrollment that we've had total in the last 10 years, serving over 1,500 students. Now, some of that can be duplicated, I have to admit, because if you have a student in GED, also in an IET, there is some duplication there. Current enrollment, we just started our new trimester on Monday, and over 379 enrollments in ESOL GED. That's quite a few. So career certificates are industry certifications, much like what was already talked about today with our CT, with Kelly and with Dr. Broskie speaking about the different industry certifications. Some that we offer is 911 operator, CNA, phlebotomy, Microsoft Office, which is your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and we're looking to develop more. Here's some of the data from this past year. Had 9 phlebotomy. Just on the 9th of April, celebrated 14 CNA graduates, so that was exciting for us. Also 55 Microsoft Office certifications. The majority of those are earned in the jail. So again, these are the ones that we currently have approved with the state of Florida. We got ParaPro, 911, Microsoft Certified Phlebotomy, and Nursing Assistant, and looking to develop in the future Introduction to Construction, potentially commercial Class B driving for your school bus drivers, your FedEx, UPS drivers. Also certified logistics. We've seen in many of the slides today, logistics being a growing industry. We want to see how we might be able to help fulfill that need. And then also, like many of the other presenters today, we want to work with you to see what other programs we can develop to help fill your workforce need. Transition services. It's important that our students have the opportunity to have some career exploration, some workforce preparation. So we do that as well with all of our students, give them the opportunity to go in and practice resume writing, interviewing. A lot of you talked about and have said that you've helped with mock interviews. So we do a lot of those same services with our population of students. Here's some of the workforce preparation skills and career pathway skills that we provide to our students and really help them to develop a career plan as they're preparing to finish their journey with the GED and or learn to speak English more proficiently. So how can we help? You can provide employee pipelines for our students, for me to share with them what opportunities are there. There are several opportunities for students without a GED or without a high school diploma. And so we do want to share those opportunities if you have them so they can be employed. We offer a varied schedule. So we have daytime, nighttime, online courses. A lot of our scheduling is built around those individuals who are working. to give them the opportunity to learn while they earn. And we'd also like to, again, talk with you how we might be able to customize training programs to help fulfill your needs. Also, on-site GED, ESOL classroom space. We work with the school system and we work underneath the umbrella of the school system and have classes remotely, not just at our main campus, which is right there at Orange Park High School, but there's been some discussion about maybe having classes in different areas throughout the county to be able to better serve. And then again, this is how we can help you with, or how you can help us, sorry, I think I have that slide backwards, but student recruitment and classroom space and student sponsorships. You can imagine a lot of our students, and CareerSource is excellent at helping in many, many ways with different financial needs. But you could imagine our population, those that may be in the lower income or no income levels, how it would benefit them to be able to establish some scholarship programs and those types of things to help them with the tuition or to help them with that voucher to take the GED exam. The GED exam is 4 tests and they're $38 each. Many times that's difficult for some of our students to come up with. So any financial help with no strings attached is great. We have a lot of grants, but as you all know, grants have strings attached. So having those scholarship funds where we can fulfill the need that we see or that the teachers identify while students are in class, that's a great, great help. We have some current partnerships with Clay County Schools with the Parapro. That was a good success. I'm new to ACE, if you can't tell. You might hear a little quiver in my voice because I haven't been around all that long. But I do have many years experience with adult education and CTE. And so the Parapro and working with the school system was a great success before my time, but we're looking to continue those partnerships and those employee pipelines, like with LabCorps. Our phlebotomy students go out to the LabCorps around to practice their clinical rotations and to practice their skills. CNA goes out to different hospitals and long-term care facilities to do their clinical rotations, Penny Farms, for instance. Eckerd Connect is through CareerSource, a way that our students can, 16 to 24, is that right? 16 to 24, may be able to get help with tuition and those types of things. And as I mentioned earlier, the National Guard and our school works with FLICA to provide GED services and also career and technical education services to those students that are housed at Camp Blanding. As a matter of fact, just 30 minutes ago, I got the approved MOU. So, Mr. Broskie, I'll be bringing that for your signature soon. This slide is going to be shared out. And so when you get down to my area, if you click on that link there, it's a good way for you to just say, hey, I heard you speak. I'd like to talk with you more about some opportunities. And then we can get really into a customized conversation. And so thank you. This is a way you can follow us. Please follow us. We're posting all the time, sharing successes. Kristen Russo is our supervisor. She's not here today, but she stayed back because it is the first week of school, and it's been kind of chaotic since Monday. But again, I'm Brad Bishop, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you. Let's see, Russ Berger, Director of Corporate and Community Education, St. Johns River.
All right, good morning, everyone. I am Russ Berger, Director of Community and Corporate Education with St. Johns River State College. I'll try to keep this as brief as possible for everybody. So I am going to kind of provide just a very brief summary of some of our current workforce programs, some of the new ones. I'm not going to go over all the ones that you may know about, but I'll just highlight a couple of the brand new workforce programs and then just some quick highlights of some of our non-credit initiatives that we have coming up through that. In addition, I've left a brochure with my business card on everybody's table. So if you're interested in more information on any of this, or you have questions, or if you want to partner, reach out. I'd love to connect with you and continue that partnership. All right, so some of our new programs here. We had in 23-24, we developed a whole bunch of new programs that add to our associate workforce programs and bachelor BAS programs. Just to highlight a couple of them, we have an AS in computer program. We restarted that. That's a program that we had previously going on, and we kind of restarted that based on interest. Our AS in criminal justice and applied intelligence and AS in paralegal studies. They started this year too with a lot of interest. Both of those programs are completely online, so it allows for a lot of flexibility. And again, that seems to have drawn a lot of interest with that program or those programs. We have our AS in diagnostic medical sonography. That program is offered here at our Orange Park campus. If you're not familiar with St. John's River State College, we currently have 3 campuses here at Orange Park. We have one in Palatka and one in San Augustine. The sonography program is primarily at our Orange Park campus, so it's here. Some of our non-credit programs, as I mentioned, I'm the Director of Community and Corporate Education. So through my department, we develop some of the initiatives that work with partnerships out in the community, try to customize training programs, develop pathways through the workforce that connect to local business partners as well as some of our programs. So just to kind of highlight again, briefly, some of the things that we have going on. One of the programs that I'm really proud of right now is our MPAT program. It's a manufacturing prep accelerated program that is funded through Operation Next. A grant-funded program that allows for students to go through about a 200-hour program through MCCES and take the test for the CPT 4.0. In that program, we do a lot of great things where we take them out on field trips. We have them develop CPR, and OSHA is built into that. Right now, we have 2 cohorts of that. We have one here at our Orange Park campus, and we have one at our Palatka campus. So one at our Palatka campus just started about 2 weeks ago. And based on some feedback that we got, we made that one a little bit more of a hybrid flexible model. So we have 1 day in person and then 2 online days. That seemed to gain a lot of enrollment increased enrollment based on some of the feedback that we got. So we're really excited to have that increased enrollment for that and interest. We're going to continue to roll those out. It is a program that I think our local business partners have mentioned is a great connection for them. And one of the other cool parts of that program is that it is a program that if they do complete that and they finish with the CPT 4.0, they will earn 15 credits towards our AS and engineering program. So there's a lot of benefits in that program. We just got accredited through NCCER. So we are developing a core construction and an HVAC program. Right now, we are currently looking for instructors and industry partners. So if anybody's interested in connecting for that, we are looking to, now that we've been accredited, to roll out that program in the coming year as soon as we can kind of, develop some of the logistics on that. But that is something that's coming up. And again, another pathway, another program that we hope that can help develop some local workforce. We also have a program for auto mechanic. It's going to be an ASE program. We're doing that in partnership with Beck Automotive in Palatka. It's going to be rolling through the 8 modules of the ASE program. And that program should be rolling out again this year. Right now, we're still working out some logistics on that as well as looking for an instructor. So if anybody knows instructors in any of those fields, we're industry partners that are looking to partner up with that. Certainly connect with me, and I would love to hear from you. We have some other programs that we are rolling out this year as well, or classes. We just were approved with an application through PMI, and we've identified 2 instructors that are going through the Train the Trainer program to develop some project management classes. We have a partnership with Lean JAX, where we're going to be, again, we've identified a couple of instructors that are going through their Train the Trainer program, and we're going to be developing some classes through Lean. And so we're hoping to kind of, again, connect and do some different things. We can offer that kind of as a whole, or we can have our instructors kind of help customize trainings directly to industry partners. We can do a lot of things with like flexibility there. We had a data analytics class that we just finished. We had 2 of them roll out through one of our instructors that did that for the spring semester. We got a lot of interest in enrollment in that and a lot of positive feedback. So one of the things that we're going to do moving forward is we're going to be looking at trying to build on that and grow on some of the data analytics classes. So you might see that kind of moving forward as well. We have a partnership with Florida Aviation Career Training for a pilot, commercial pilot license. So that's another one that we have kind of going on right now. And it's not on there, but we do have a partnership right now with the Link in Ponte Vedra, where we are doing a series of workshops and trying to build on that as well. So these aren't comprehensive of all the things going on kind of underneath community and corporate education, but just kind of highlighting a few of the major ones. And we have some initiatives coming up in the following year. We're looking at doing some automation work, as well as supply chain automation. And it's not on there as well, but agriculture, ag automation is another one we're looking at expanding on some programs. They're probably going to be more of the degreed programs at this point, but it is things that we're kind of looking at expanding in the next year. And that is it. Again, I look forward to hearing from you if you're interested in learning more information or partnering up. And the next person, last but not least, Christina Thomas from NEFBA, Director of Workforce Development. Thank you all.
So again, I'm Christina Thomas. I'm the Director of Workforce Development at the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Primarily with our workforce program, we have a very robust apprenticeship that's been around for over 50 years. We train individuals to become carpenters, electricians, HVAC technicians, and plumbers. Each of the programs are 4 years in length. From an economic standpoint, our apprentices work full-time with one of our member contractors. We are the largest builders association in the state of Florida, the 4th in the nation, and we have over 200 contractors that participate with this apprenticeship program. The good thing about apprenticeship is they're working full-time the entire 4 years. They go to school at night. It's 100% tuition free because their employer pays for the classes. So it's a great way for them to put money in their pocket. They get that. We are definitely not saying that we're not college because we do have an articulation agreement through the college, Florida college system where they can get up to 27 credit hours towards an AS degree in industrial management. So great opportunities. We are regulated by the Florida Department of Education and also honored by the Federal Department of Labor. We've had some huge growth in enrollment. We've had over 30% growth in the last 5 years. It's been almost 300% in the last 10 years. That's a good thing. And a big piece of that is our partnerships with local school districts. We do work with many in the Northeast Florida area, but by far, Clay County with what they told you is absolutely correct and what's really driving that number up. The cool thing that I do want to point out is that our median age is almost 4 years younger than the national median age. What that means is people are getting in younger. And the benefit of that is, one just brief example is there's a young man who graduated from the Ridgeview HVAC program, went through ours, and then just started his own business and is now putting people back in, and he's 27. So we've got some really good stories where that is. So you can see our growth is we are going to continue to trend upward. We do feel like we're going to see about 600 apprentices. We say 2030, but I have a feeling it might happen a little sooner based on the fact that we're already only halfway through our recruitment season and we're about 70% capacity. So a couple things. We do have a Clay County campus. I want to point that out. It's actually not too far down the street here. We do have it strictly for electrical, but primarily we are in the Jacksonville area. We did just obtain a building back in January, so now I get to be a contractor myself, so that's really fun. We hope to be in there by March of next year. So we are going to centralize there for the most part, but we have no plans whatsoever of moving out of Clay County. If nothing else, we're going to expand with what we're doing. Clay County is definitely, when you look at where our apprentices live and work, that's why we opened the campus a couple years ago, is just because a vast majority of them do come from Clay County. very strong partnerships. Over the years, we do support their NCCER curriculum at no cost to the school district. Career fairs, mock interviews, everything you've heard today, we do. The past 2 years, we've had an opportunity with a grant that we have to dig a little bit deeper and do a lot more hands-on training where we're actually bringing in experienced contractors into the classroom, doing some scale model builds. So if you don't follow us on social media, I would highly recommend you do so. We've had some cool things going on, Ridgeview, Clay, Fleming, and next year we do plan on expanding with that. From an economic standpoint, it's important to point out that because our apprentices all work, it's about $20 million in the Northeast Florida area. $5 million of that comes directly back into Clay County with the wages they have. So with that, there's some fun pictures of things that we do. And looking on, just again, a couple little highlighted points. It's no cost to the apprentice. Everyone thinks it's too good to be true. That's not the case. We do have some college credits that articulate. We are still actively accepting applications through June 12th. If you know any aspiring electricians, I hope that they got their application in yesterday. We're filling up very quickly. Carpentry, we can't accept that up until classes starting, but our deadline is June 12th. All right, so anything else? I thank you.
Just in conclusion today, we want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you to our presenters. Thank you for attending. We do have some goodies on the tables from some of our presenters. And in addition to that, on the back of the agenda, we have contact information. We hope that today you will take some of the ideas that you've heard, go back and see how you can implement them within your organization. And then last but not least, we just want to say thank you for your continued support in economic development here in Clay County. And with that, we're adjourned.